welcome to TV Africa News. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. Bobi Wine arrested during protest over missing supporters. Chad president kicks off campaign for 6th term. And in sports, Muruli Kajoba crowned as Uganda Premier League's best in February 2021. And now the news in detail. National Unit Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, alias Bobi Wine, has been arrested as he led a peaceful demonstration demanding the release of hundreds of his supporters who are missing after being arrested during and after the January 14th elections. Our reporter Katende has more.
The run-up in the presidential poll, which saw Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni declared the winner, was on Monday intercepted by police at City Square in Kampala as he led a group of his followers and MP-elects to demand for freedom of his supporters, most of who he says were kidnapped and tortured by security operatives. Bobi Wine arrested has led MPs and other leaders in a peaceful protest against abduction, torture and murder of his supporters. The protest was taking place at City Square in Kampala. By the time of filing this story, they had been detained at Kampala Central Police Station. The arrest comes hours after Mr. Museveni, in his televised address on Sunday night, warned Bobi Wine and his NUP members of causing chaos ahead of his swearing ceremony later May. Mr. Museveni said they have been planning to stop swearing in for president that is scheduled in May this year. Kateni Chabasinga reporting.
Moving on, the Council for Banyarwanda are considering rebranding themselves to Abavandimwe due to the continued alleged segregation in Uganda. Nalugo reports.
Addressing the press at Serena Gardens in Kampala, Dr. Lawrence Muganga said Ugandans under the flagship of Banyarwanda are segregated and treated like non-Ugandans as much as this country is with no contention globally acclaimed for welcoming foreigners and refugees, making it the second largest country to welcome refugees, that this should not in any way make some people de-alienate its own fellow citizens, taking them as foreigners. He said his tribe mates are being denied access to the national identity cards and passports, which are some of the most important documents that every Ugandan should and must have.
To even make it worse, there are those people who deliberately use this as a weapon to segregate and victimize the Banyarwanda people here in our country. This overtime, therefore, has caused these Ugandans, under the flagship of the name Banyarwanda, to be segregated and treated like non-Ugandans. Much as this country is with no contention, globally acclaimed for welcoming foreigners, as you know, all refugees, and making it a country with the second largest concentration of refugees in the world, this should not in any way make some people alienated from their own country or from being citizens of this country. So this is where we kindly request our fellow countrymen, Banyarwanda around this country, and everyone who is here today to consider renaming our tribe Abavandimwe. And I'll come back to this later on. We will come to everyone around this country in consultation on this matter. We are not making a definitive conclusion that this is who we are, but it is a consultative process that begins today. We will today explain in detail why we are making this appeal for the betterment of the 11 million Banyarwanda or Ugandans who are currently known to be Banyarwanda tribe as per the Ugandan constitution.
The Banyarwanda tribe have been part of this country's indigenous tribes, and they have been in existence since 1900 with a link from the neighboring country Rwanda. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Away from that, the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has said that the Kabaka, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi, is in Kenya for official duties and they are in the preparations for his 66th birthday commemorations. Katikiro made these remarks while addressing the members of Buganda Luchiko, which sat today at Bulange Mengo. We have more.
During the Buganda Rukiko on 15th of March 2021, the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, declared that on 13th of April 2021, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald William Muwenda Mutebi II, will be marking 66 years, and they are in preparations, including the Kabaka birthday run. Katikiro told members that Kabaka is fine in Nairobi, Kenya, on his official duties, where he paid a visit to Namasole Margaret Sooza, who is admitted in Nairobi Hospital, and other people.
Samusajja Kabaka yakyalira ku Namasole eddwaliro Nairobi n'amulabako n'okumugumya era manyidde ddala nti kyamuzzamu nnyo amaanyi. Obwakabaka buli bumu n'abooluganda lwa Namasole naddala mutabani we Dr. Daniel Muyanja ne mwannyina ate nga ye Ssaabaganza Emmanuel Ssekitoleko. Tutambudde nabo okusala ebitotto okulaba nga Namasole ajjanjabibwa. Bafubye nnyo bayise mu bingi bali mu kusoomozebwa kunene. Tubasaba mubasabire Namasole asuuke era aterere bulungi.
He reminded the central government about their money, plus the land titles that they agreed upon to be paid, asking for immediate response. However, Katikiro pointed out people who splash money anyhow on Kwanjula ceremony, which he says a new norm copied from Nigerians that is disrespecting the norms of Uganda.
Ezimu ku nsonga endala enkulu zenjagala okutegeeza abakiise zikwata ku bye tubanja gavumenti ng'Obwakabaka. Tubanja ensimbi enkalu mpitirivu ebya federo bagenda kubyanjula naye tubanja ensimbi ziri eyo mu buwumbi 200 n'okusoba ezamala okukakasibwa gavumenti eyo yennyini ate waliyo n'obuwumbi 500 ezikyetegerezebwa okupangisa ebizimbe, ettaka, okutulirira ebintu byaffe ebyanyagibwa oba ebyayonoonebwa. Obuwumbi 215 tubanje ezamala okukakasibwa naye tezinasasula.
He urged people to follow the SOPs as guided by Ministry of Health and to go for COVID-19 vaccination. He also asked security organs to release all the abducted people from custodies. Katende Chawasinga reporting.
Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News at The Right to Know. Chad President Idriss Déby Itno has kicked off his campaign for a 6th term on Saturday, calling for unity after rival protests were banned and broken up. Nalugo reports.
The first rally since the start of the official election period on Thursday was held by Déby's Patriotic Salvation Movement, MPS, at a packed stadium in the capital, Jamena. Déby, who has ruled for 30 years and is widely deemed for a shoe-in for another term, said he had fought for national unity while also drawing a line in the sand for his opponents. On Thursday, 3 opposition candidates quit the race ahead of the April 11th ballot, with one of them, Mahamat Yosko Brahim, saying the climate was not favorable for fair and transparent presidential elections. Their withdrawal leaves half a dozen candidates, including Déby, who has ruled the country since 1990. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Away from that, the Central African Republic began voting in the second round of a legislative election on Sunday as it battles back against the rebel insurgency the government has called an attempted coup. We have more.
This election will be the first time many will be able to vote after only 1 in 3 of those registered were able to cast their ballots in the first round in December due to security fears. A little over a week before that vote, 6 of the armed groups that control 2/3 of the country joined forces, vowing to disrupt the election, march on the capital and overthrow the government. President Faustin Archange Touadera got re-elected in December from a vote slammed by the opposition as fraudulent, as so few were able to cast a ballot. The rebel offensive went on to seize a series of northern and western towns and even reached the outskirts of the capital, Bangui, in January. But Central African troops, bolstered by Russian and Rwandan reinforcements, have since waged a counter-offensive, retaking many of the towns and reopening a key trade route to neighboring Cameroon. Touadera's party is expected to easily retain its majority in the National Assembly in Sunday's election, but there are fears that the vote could again disrupt by the rebels, who have withdrawn to the outside but are still threatening to overthrow the government. Nahabwe Kajura, reporting for TV Africa News.
Moving on, the President of Congo, Denis Sassou Nguesso, has inaugurated a hydroelectric dam, a few roads and a hospital complex a few weeks before the presidential elections in what the opposition has called lack of assessment. Nahabwe reports.
A hospital complex of more than 50,000 meters was inaugurated in the center of Popular District in Pont-Noire, the economic capital, in February. The hospital, the government says, was built to stem the problems linked to the distance from health centers, something the residents have blamed for as the cause of several cases of death. For some in the Central African country, this is a well-thought-out plan to end the current term and the urge supporters to give another term to President Nguesso. Crepin Goula, member of the opposition party DNERD, told journalists that under normal circumstances, after each term in office, the president must give an account, make an assessment, which has not been the case this time. The 77-year-old Denis Sassou Nguesso, who has ruled the Central African nation for 36 years, is among the Congo's presidential candidates in the 21st March elections. Nahabwe Kajura, reporting for TV Africa News.
Away from that, still in Congo, Brazzaville, a former rebel leader, Pastor Ntumi, who took up arms after the re-election of President Denis Sassou Nguesso in the previous election in 2016, has called for peace and transparency in the Sunday 21st March presidential elections. Kachanchu has more.
Speaking to journalists in Moncala, a town between Brazzaville and Pointe-Noire in the Po region, which is considered the agricultural breadbasket of Congo-Brazzaville, Frederick Binsamau, alias Pastor Ntumi, said that the election must not be an opportunity to reawaken the old demons of division. 7 candidates are running on 21st March, including the incumbent President Sassou Nguesso, 77 years old and 36 in power. The former rebel leaders party, the National Council of Republicans, is not representing any candidate and is not supporting any candidate. Pastor Ntumi, 56, took up arms after the disputed re-election of President Sassou Nguesso in March 2016. Africa Today, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Moving on, soldiers and police officers shot and killed at least 51 people in Myanmar over the weekend as they pressed their campaign of attrition against protesters who have defied them in cities and towns across the country. Let's take a look.
Despite weeks of killings by the security forces, a nationwide civil disobedience movement, which has paralyzed much of the economy as well as the government's operations, shows no sign of warning a month and a half after the Feb 1 million coup that ousted the civilian leadership. Late Sunday afternoon, another wave of killing began in the Hailintha district in Yangon, which is heavily populated by factory workers and where the protests against military rule have been among the most aggressive. A large force of soldiers and police officers was deployed to the township and fatally shot at least 31 protesters, according to a doctor at Helen Thayer General Hospital. It was the highest daily death toll in one location since the coup. On Sunday evening, the ruling junta declared martial law in the district, the first such declaration since the takeover, allowing the military to assume all authority in the township from the police. Nahaba Kajura reporting for TV Africa News.
In our business news today, the Kenyan government has announced that Kenya will not take part in the hearings due to start on Monday at the International Court of Justice in The Hague on its border dispute with Somalia. Nalugo has more.
Somalia and Kenya have been at odds for several years over the delineation of their maritime border in the Indian Ocean, with a vast area of 100,000 kilometers squared, rich in fish and potential hydrocarbons at stake. In the letter sent to the ICJ, the UN's main judicial body, on Thursday, Kenya said it would inform the court that it will not participate in the virtual hearings on the case scheduled to start on 15th March. In December, Somalia announced that it was breaking off diplomatic relations with Kenya. In February, Kenya recalled its ambassador to Mogadishu, accusing Somalia of auctioning off oil and gas fields in the disputed area, a charge it denies. In 2009, the two countries agreed to settle their dispute through bilateral negotiations, but these were not successful. As a result, Somalia referred the matter to the ICJ in 2014. Despite Kenya's challenges, the ICJ declared itself competent in February 2017. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Now, health news today. The governor of the Mexican state of Hidalgo, Omar Fayad, has called on the health authorities to launch an inquiry into the death of a 75-year-old woman shortly after she was administered a shot of the coronavirus vaccine made by the Chinese Sinovac company. Nahabwe reports.
In a tweet late last week, Hidalgo State Governor Omar Fayad requested the competent authorities of Salud at the Secretariat of Health of Mexico, and supported by Salud Hidalgo of the Secretary of Health of the state of Hidalgo, to carry out an investigation to know the causes that led to the unfortunate death of an elderly person in this vaccination process in Hidalgo. According to media reports citing the family of the deceased, Maria Solis Gondines passed away on Thursday 15 minutes after getting inoculated at the vaccination center. The relatives accused the medical staff of negligence, as the woman suffered from high blood pressure and was still administered the shot. The authorities, however, said that the cause of the death remains unclear, with no evidence of the vaccination being behind the incident. According to initial findings, the deceased had a chronic heart disease.
In sports today, Police Football Club striker Brian Mululi, Mayanja and Vipers head coach Fred Kajoba have been crowned as the respective best Uganda Premier League player and coach for the month of February 2021. Kachanchu has more.
The duo each earned 1 million Uganda shillings, courtesy of the award sponsors Pilsner Beer. The crowning ceremony was held at the Katikati restaurant along Lugogo Bypass in Kampala on Monday, March 15, 2021. Muruli scored 5 goals in the month of February in 5 matches, playing against Chetume, Bright Stars, Vipers and Bull. Having played the first 4 games of the season at Kitara, Muruli then transferred to Police, where he has since scored 5 goals to take take over the top scoring charts. Kajoba guided Vipers to 5 victories in 7 matches. Vipers won 7-0 at home against Maida, beat Police 3-2, Bull 1-0, UPDF 1-0 and 3-1 at Onduparaka. The Vipers head coach beat Richard Waswa-Bosa of Express and URA's Sam Simbwa. Kajoba used the platform to console upcoming footballers about their respective careers. He urged the players to remain focused, especially with training.
Yeah, first guys, I'm very sorry for coming late. I'm very happy to be coach of the month, but I think when you are in Vipers, you have to be coach of the month every month, and I don't know why you don't give it to me every month, because when you're in Vipers, you have to be coach of the month. So I'm very, very, very happy, and I want to thank my players, coaching staff, Vipers, officials, because I'm not working alone. So I'm very, very happy, guys. Thank you for selecting me. I'm very, very happy for being a coach of the month. Thank you.
The well-attended crowning ceremony was also graced by the league CEO, Bernard Bainamani, who cautioned the clubs to adhere to the special standards operating procedures laid out in the brave fight against COVID-19.
Tujikomenkereza ku Lwokuna nga 18 omwezi guno. First round tegenze bubi okutwaliza wamu.
The first round of the 2020-2021 Uganda Premier League concludes this week with 8 matches spread out from Tuesday 16th March 2021 to Thursday 18th March 2021. The second round is earmarked to kick off latest April 2021.
My name is Mayanja Brian Mululi, player of Police FC. I'm a striker. I thank God for everything that I have achieved in February, and I thank all my fans, family, and everyone for that. Yeah, Amanya Bampita Mayanja Brian Mululi.
Africa Today, Kachanchu Mutabazi reporting.
Still in sports, a multicultural youth Tasmania program has launched a new project dubbed My Community Champions, aiming at helping the girl child in soccer on and off the field to get physically active, communicate and build relationships. Katende has more.
Sadie Thompson, the coordinator of the program, said that getting young women active and involved, sports really helps with some of belonging and inclusion in the broader community, so which they are going to use as a vehicle for settlement. Migrant Resource Center Samania runs a program which has employed 9 young people from diverse backgrounds as its sporting champions, including Obed and Gibrant, who are tasked with promoting sport within their communities. While the program is well underway, the center is looking to partner with other sporting clubs across the state to encourage the participation of multicultural youth in sport. Football for those young women is about more than exercise, it's also a community. Katende Chawasinga reporting for TV Africa.
Now, before we end our news bulletin today, let's take a recap of our top stories. Bobi Wine arrested during protest over missing supporters. Chad president kicks off campaign for 6th term. And in sports, Muruli Kajoba crowned as Uganda Premier League's best in February 2021. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.
This is Africa, and that was the news.